one of my favorite scenes in Mick's book is when Jack Herbert, the bag man, basically offers his daughter to you in this sort of weird scene, and then takes pictures he's going to send to your wife. I mean, very odd.
I found that very unusual myself. I didn't know it was his daughter. We were working one night and he said, "Oh, look, I've arranged we're going for dinner tonight." And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Oh, we're going out for dinner. We've got to meet a couple of informers." And the next thing, his wife and another young girl was there, see? And I didn't know his family, so he took a photo with me and his daughter sitting beside each other, and I later found out from one of my fellas in the office that it was his daughter, and he was going to use that photo to blackmail me with my wife. And that didn't worry me because on one occasion, I quite clearly remember I was sitting at home and having dinner, one of my rare nights that I was home, because mostly our work is involved being out at nights, and 2 in the morning, 3, 4. And I'm sitting down about 7 o'clock having dinner and the phone rings, and I never forget this night, and it's a woman on the other end, I presume. I didn't answer the phone, my wife did, and she said to me, she said, "Dinah's on the phone. She said she's pregnant. What are you going to do about it?" I didn't lose a beat, as you appreciate, and I thought, well, I can't afford to lose a beat. I said, "Well, tell her if she's pregnant, there's F all I can do about it now." So I go into the office the next morning and I approach a certain bloke, and I said, "You tell your wife, if she ever rings my wife again to get me in this shit," I said, "I'll kick your head in." You know, so it was one of the bloke's wife that was setting me up. So really, my wife was used to it after a while. She thought, who do I believe? Well, you got to believe me, dear. I'm living with you.
Either that or she was just very open-minded.
Oh, well, that's it.
Whatever you do, what you got to do, man. Just do what you got to do. I just love you for who you are, and I'm not a possessive kind of woman.
But that's how they were. They get you. They had to try and get you to go on side with them because they needed you on side, because they couldn't afford you to go out and talk out of school to other bosses. They didn't know who they could trust. But I found out that those days you couldn't trust any of them, because if they weren't corrupt, they weren't copping a quid, they knew who was copping a quid, and they didn't do anything about it because it affected their promotion.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
To me, we're just about out of time.
To you. I mean, I would find it, personally, I would find it just awful to live in a situation where nobody could trust anybody. I mean, the music industry is based on trust. And basically, you know, you can't be a tour manager for people. I mean, I never was a tour manager for anyone I didn't love, for a start. I wouldn't dream of doing anything that I didn't love. But to live in a world continually without trust, that must extract some kind of weird price from you as a person. Didn't you find it a terrible,
it was an
stressful thing?
It was stressful. I lost my hair, as I said, in 6 months. When I first, got involved with this, I quite clearly remember the headlines in the paper was Detective Cacciola and Detective Horgan, Detective Pitts conspired together to, and it was headlines in the news, television, papers, and it was a hard struggle ahead, and it took 20-odd years for the Fitzgerald inquiry to say that we hadn't done anything wrong. But the next morning I get out of bed and I had really thick black hair and there's a big bundle on my pillow and I started to lose my hair, and that's it. Wow. 6 months after it happened, on the 19th of June 1975, I lost my hair within 6 months. Stress. But I kept telling them I didn't have stress. You couldn't afford to let them think that you were stressed. You couldn't afford to let them think that they were on top of you. You just had to keep fighting. So it was a hard road ahead. I like to get my hair back. My doctor
See
said...
Shane Warne, he's got...
my doctor said to me 6 months ago, he said, listen, he took a sunspot off my head, and he said, listen, I've got 2 things for you. You either start wearing a hat or grow your hair. I said, I'll grow my hair back.
Well, I wish we had more time. These 3 lovely gentlemen, and as the title of the session says, you couldn't make this up. Please join me in thanking them.
Thank you.
Thank you.